Hi, I'm Bart Loser. I'm Program Coordinator for District 55's Continuing Education Program. And today we're going to be focusing on effective evaluation in the Toastmasters program. Now, this first part of the program, which is one of three, will be focusing on receiving feedback. In the next two programs after this, we will focus on delivery pointers as well as the evaluation process we specifically use in Toastmasters and how to make the best of that program. Now, receiving criticism is difficult to hear. Most people would rather hear praise and positive things. And as Norman Vincent Peale once said, the trouble with most of us is that we would rather be ruined by praise than be saved by criticism. I think what he's saying here is that the best way to improve in our lives is to hear how our behavior and our communication impacts other people. One thing I love to teach people about communication is that the most important part of communication is not what you say to people, but what they hear. So listening to how effective you are at communicating to people by how it's received by others is the most powerful way to improve. And Toastmasters is all about evaluating and motivating so that we can build our skills. It's just as important to learn to receive feedback well as it is to deliver it in order to maximize your development. So learning to receive and give feedback is one of the most powerful ways to learn, and in Pathways, it's one of our first education projects. Now, in receiving feedback gracefully, there's a few pointers I might bring up, which is number one, be an active listener. This means look like you're listening, pay attention. Some people, sometimes when I'm on a call, they'll be like, looking like this, or, they just don't look like they're really listening. So if you're receiving feedback, make sure you're giving them your full attention as a listener. Secondly, and perhaps one of the most important, is don't take it personally. This isn't meant to be a personal thing about you. It's about how your communication comes across to others. And we may think we were effective or clear, but who gets to decide whether you were clear in communicating to someone? Is it you or your listener? So you want to find out how the receiver of your communication receives it to best learn how to impact people the way you intend. Now, one of the important things too about receiving feedback is you want to assume the best of intentions. Always assume this person is trying to help you. And in Toastmasters, that is the point of offering evaluations, is to help people to improve their ability to communicate to others. So always assume that the intention they have is the best for you. Another thing to keep in mind is that it is their perception. So you can choose not to listen to what they have to say, but keep in mind, it is how they see it, how they heard it. And what they heard is what's true for them. So you might want to listen to how they took your message. Another good point is to own what they say. So if they say, you spoke a bit softly for me and I had a hard time hearing what you said, and if you're thinking, well, I was perfectly loud enough, well, who gets to decide whether you were loud enough? So own this. Take responsibility for how your communication impacts others. Now, a few other pointers to help you with is always make sure that you're respectful with your attention. So smiling when you're actually getting that feedback is always helpful, or at least looking like you're interested. Yeah. Another thing, reflect on the feedback and think, what did this say about how I presented this and what I might do differently? You also want to clarify points, but in Toastmasters, you don't have a two-way conversation when you're talking to someone. So you want to make sure that afterward, if you have any questions, clarify this at the end of the evaluation later in the meeting, or you might call them afterwards. Always make sure that you show appreciation for the fact that they're giving you this gift of evaluation, and you want to decide at the end how you're going to apply this information. As Oprah once said, failure is a great teacher, and if you are open to it, every mistake has a lesson to offer. I think that's one of the most powerful aspects of evaluation, is learning to be a good listener and taking it gracefully.